get what you call it. It was giving me legal advice, which it is not, from what I understand. And I spoke with other people about it, and that's not legal advice telling me the procedures. You had this and did not give this to me. So
I just looked that up a couple of days ago.
Okay, you looked it up a couple of days ago, but yet when I asked for it, yeah, when I asked for it back in the day when it happened, I was denied that.
For when you come in and talk to him.
Yeah, and yeah, again, I was denied that and said it was legal advice. That's not legal advice. That's giving me procedures. I know that. The judge did. I'm saying the judge did.
Right there.
Yes. Yes.
I printed that out for him for when you came in.
Yeah, because he knew I'd be in. I know he would.
I looked it up so that I would know that I'll write in the letter.
Okay, do you have a piece of paper here that I need to sign this? This here?
No.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you were ready for me, weren't you?
Heard all that?
Oh, no, I heard some of it. But
You're ready for it. You remember the day whenever we went through all this, and I said, how long do I have? You said that that would be giving me legal advice. Well, here we have this here that could have been given to me that very same day. All I had to do was be given this information.
Which I only looked up 2 days ago.
We
So, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, this is a court of proceeding.
I didn't print this up for you. I
I
printed
understand.
it up for him.
I know. This is a court of proceeding. When I asked for that information was denied to me. Okay? So, therefore, we'll deal with it, and I'll deal with it through the legislation, and I will deal with the procedures, and I'll deal with it, the situation. We'll see what lawyers we can get involved, and so we can protect the citizen's rights. The citizen has a right. I asked you on that day to throw this case out because it denies my God-given right, and you said denied. Okay? Your job as a judge is to protect my rights. Even the state, when the state violates my rights, your job as a judge to protect those rights. Is that not right?
No, sir.
Your job is, what are you saying your job is in?
My job is the referee in the middle. We have the state on that side. We have the defendant over there. And I'm the referee in the middle to see you get a fair trial. Not a perfect,
okay.
Not a perfect trial, but fair. But no, sir, it's not to protect your rights.
Oh, it's not to protect my rights. So when the state violates my rights, you can't say, well, I recognize this as a violation of this person's rights. Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that.
If it's a gross, we're in the courtroom, and they're going to introduce gross hearsay, and you don't know, I say, wait a minute, you know, something like that.
Okay.
But no, sir, you got to protect your own rights.
I got to protect my own rights.
Yes, sir.
You're the one that's knowledgeable of the law.
Yes, again, I'm the referee in the middle.
Oh, but you're the one that's knowledgeable of the law, all the laws that are in place, because that's your duty.
Well,
my ability to understand my rights is one thing, but you to understand the law is totally different, and to understand what you're supposed to be doing. I see that a judge's his right is to protect the right of the people, not to be a referee.
And if you go back, remember, I know I told you that we can't give legal advice.
Well, that's not legal advice. This is not legal advice.
Because if we get it wrong, then we're accountable.
This is not legal advice. This is a proceedings. Even the county clerk said that that's not legal advice. Even when I went down to try to get this done.
We did not have that today. And again, our internal procedure yesterday, we checked it out. As a courtesy today, I'm giving it to you. Just for whatever
as a courtesy today, but not whenever the trial happened.
We didn't have it figured out.
But you couldn't figure it out then? I don't understand that. You couldn't figure it out then. I don't know how many years have you been doing this?
Well, again, that's if I took on that job, then I'm accountable for it, and that's why we don't take that on.
But you did it so you'd make sure that you could send out that letter, and you was in the right for sending out that letter to say, well, I'm going to trial you. I'm going to set you up with a new trial, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
Well, you said you had to. That's what she told me. She said I had to look it up for him because of the fact is I got to know that I can send this letter out to you now. But if you would kindly read the bottom section of that on that appeal form, what does it say in the Supreme Court that whenever it says violating the rights of a person? There's two cases that are in place.
The very bottom one?
Yes, sir. Those two cases. They went to the Supreme Court. That's why I asked you to throw this out of court. Now, what has the state done? The state has done, in fact, the exact opposite of what that says they cannot do.
Well, I would be interpreting the law if I try to do that.
The Supreme Court already told you what that is, that a right cannot be charged. That a right says the state shall convert, if no state shall convert a liberty into a license and charge a fee thereof. And if the state converts a right into a privilege, a citizen can ignore the license, fee, and engage in the right and liberty with impunity. Yet I'm threatened with a warrant that if I don't pay the $104, now you say I can't appeal it. Even though that shouldn't even have been to this point. Never should have been allowed to get this far.
Is that a question or?
I'm just asking, why is it that you allowed it to get that far?
Well, the legislature has passed that law. It has been upheld all over the state of Texas. In courts, it's being upheld.
Okay.
And asking one judge, it's crystal clear. We ought to just throw this out. Well, it wasn't so crystal clear to everyone else. How can I take this on myself to say, I'm going to throw this law out and not uphold it?
That's your job. That's your duty. My duty is to make sure I protect my liberty as well. And then it's also left to a judge to be able to protect the duty.
Well, again, I
protect the rights.
Smith,
I was real, over the years I've gotten to kind of know you. And I've respected you. And I've treated you kindly. And I've always been polite to you and everything else.
You have. Very much so.
But I'm very passionate about protecting my rights and other people's.
I understand.
And I wish that we had representation that would protect the rights and recognize when they are violating the people's rights. I wish that we had judges that would stand up and have the boldness to say, legislator, you had it wrong. We're not going to fly and we're not going to do this. That is no different than what happened with Nazi Germany. We're just going to abide by the law. We're going to do our job. And what happened to millions of people? They were slaughtered. So I find it very ironic that this is happening in the United States, that when someone violates the people's rights, that we don't have anybody standing up and saying you're violating the people's rights. We have legislators in place that don't understand what a right really is.
Okay.
So why don't we all stand together and say, look, we're not going to uphold these unconstitutional laws that were given to us, these rights that were given to us by God. God gave me the right to hunt and fish, not to have to buy it. If I want to go feed myself or my family, or if a man can't afford to go out and buy food from the grocery store, why should he have to buy that right to go feed his family?
That's your argument and your opinion, Mr. Smith. And there's hundreds of people who don't agree.
Democracy is not what we have. We have a democratic republic. We're supposed to have a democratic republic in place. Because a number of people take away my rights doesn't make it right. So we can't allow for things to continue on that are wrong and just ignore it.
Well,
we can't ignore it.
I understand and I respect your opinion. If I have to rule on it, and you can show me where the law is in your favor, that's what I'll follow. But I'm not going to interpret the law or make new law. Well,
the law is not being interpreted. It's already stated by the Supreme Court. Even says no state can do it. But anyway, have a good day.
Okay.
This won't be my last.
Good luck to you. And,
all right.
and I mean that sincerely.
Okay.
And my thought is there's a lot of groups and organizations that would help support you in this endeavor. And I'm sure I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah. It's not about the money.
I understand.
I've got plenty of money to be able to pay for things, but that's not something we need to be throwing at people and saying if you don't pay it, you're going to jail or whatever it is that you're going to threaten people with for taking away their rights. And that's where we need to, that's where we need to stand. And I would hope that your next person that comes in to fill this seat, hopefully we'll be able to make sure that they understand this and be able to say, look, we're not going to do that. So I don't know how much longer you're going to be doing it, but so have a good day, sir.
Okay, Mr.
Have a good one.
Good luck.
So this here is all done now. I don't have to come on the 25th. Okay, thank you.